Hello and welcome back to the Surviving to Thriving video series, where we are all about getting unstuck and living your life with more purpose, happiness, and freedom. I am your host, Catherine Carroll, and today I have for you Melissa Cohen. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. You guys, Melissa Cohen is a relationship coach, psychotherapist, and happily married mother of identical twin boys. For 20 years, she has helped successful men and women whose lives, while good on paper, feel flat in real life. Her clients often say that prior to hiring Melissa, they had everything they ever wanted, but still felt unfulfilled and disconnected. Whether one-on-one or with a large group, Melissa is an expert at teaching her clients how to move away from a problem-oriented mindset and take action towards a solution. She especially loves teaching moms how to stop living on autopilot, break the cycle of overwhelm, and instead create the vibrant lives they really want and deserve. In addition to her private practice, Melissa is creator of an innovative couples coaching program called the Relationship Roadmap. This course is perfect for couples who want to strengthen their relationship so they can enjoy the journey of parenthood together. I love all of these things. Oh, it's so wonderful. So before we dive in here, I want to start it off by asking you, what does thriving look like to you?
So thriving to me really is on a small level, on an individual level. To me, it's really about having the health to notice all the simple pleasures in life and be able to take that in. So people who are thriving, they tend to have a selection bias that helps them to see beauty and joy and gratitude, and it really brings that glow to their lives. And for me, thriving is all, the reason why I'm a relationship coach is because thriving to me is all about being in relationship. So whether that's in relationship to yourself, your kids, your husband, your family member, your friends, the way that we are connected to people really creates a strong fiber net for us to grow from there. And so you can't look at health or mental health and well-being and fitness and longevity and resilience without looking at the nature of our relationships.
Oh, I love that so much. It's like the fiber, like a net. And I imagine, such strength from that. Like when you think about anything that's woven, it's, maybe flimsy on its own, but when woven together with other things like bamboo or something, or whatever it is, I don't know. Wicker furniture, it's like big, you can sit in it.
Right. Well, and what's great is that when you have a really strong network, social network or emotional network, it allows you to take risks and it allows you to grow in ways that you wouldn't if you didn't have that. It's not a security blanket. It's more of like that rich soil that's going to be there to support you so that you can grow.
Yeah, I like it. It's supportive is what I feel.
Yeah,
I love that. So Melissa, before we dive right into it, can you give us a little bit of background on a little bit more of your story and kind of why you got into relationship coaching?
Sure. So I am a trained therapist. I've been a therapist for 20 years. And I recently started moving more toward relationship coaching because to me, that's where all of the action was. Like the way people act out their issues and their drama is in relationship. The way that they feel love is in relationship. So that's why, I used to, when I was doing straight therapy, it was, I treat adults who have depression and anxiety, but may not want to take meds. But now for me, it's more of a health and vibrancy focus. So rather than looking at what may be wrong with you that's keeping you sort of stuck, it's more about, okay, let's see what we can do to get you unstuck, to get you feeling healthier, more connected in your life, having that sense of, the only way I can really describe it is that vibrancy, where like you just feel able to be your authentic self. And so my passion has always been working with moms. Even when I was training to be a social worker, I was working with teen mothers. And when I looked over my career at the people that I just loved working with, it was always moms. And I feel so strongly that moms need nurturing too. We have so much energy going out and so little coming back in, that we really need to support our moms and support each other to learn to go a little bit deeper. So it's not just, oh, you know, self-care, I need a manicure, or self-care, I should be, you know, eating clean and dieting and working out and mastery over my body. To me, I like helping moms to figure out, like, okay, but what would really nourish you? What would recharge your battery more than just like a nap? Something that would help you even through the exhausting years of young, you know, having young children where like you're not sleeping and all of that, you know, helping them to be able to access that life vibrancy that they really want to feel. So a lot of times the moms that I work with, they literally have everything that they ever wanted. They're, you know, they could have looked at their, you know, wish list from when they were, you know, 20. And now that they're 30 or 40, they see like, yeah, well, I have everything I said I ever wanted, but like, I don't really feel that good. So to me, my absolute joy is helping moms get to that point of feeling good and feeling fulfillment, whatever that is for them, because I know that moms, they're like the pebble in the pond. Like, you help the mom, and all of a sudden you have healthy, thriving kids, you have healthy families. The more healthy families you have, you're building healthy communities, and it just proliferates outward. And so for me, that's why I love treating moms, because they are the power center, really, in our families.
Oh, I love that so much. And I really love what you talk about, you know, self-care, because it's something that's I found a lot more attention now. And then the way that you described it is, I think, the way that a lot of people think of it, in that it's a kind of another thing to do, which actually isn't very caring. It's like, oh, I've got to do this because of this. Like, it's like on a to-do list, when it's not, as you said, something that's actually nourishing for them. And of course, we all know, like, you know, on a plane, you know, put your own oxygen mask on first. Yet, and I see it too with mothers and women, kind of in general, like this over-giving tendency, and, you know, a bit of backlash for being maybe seen as like selfish or something like that, to take care of themselves. So I'm wondering, what are some things, like slight things, that people that are watching right now can do? Because I think a lot of people have got everything that they ever wanted. They're like, I've got my family, and, you know, my partner, and my house, and my job, and whatever else. Like, what is missing?
Right. Well, the first thing that I really like to help moms do, and women in general actually, is I like them to pull back a little bit and see what is sucking up all of their energy. And so usually what's sucking up all of our energy is this like relentless standards combined with never-ending task list. So no sense of like completion. I have done it today, you know, and it's, you know, especially you're not getting a lot of feedback. Like, your 2-year-old is not being like, you really did a good job when I was tantrum. Good job, mommy. Way to not join me in the tantrum. You know, we're just not getting that feedback. And even from, you know, a perspective of, we just give so much to the kids that everything else sort of fades into the background. So that's ourselves, that's our relationships, that's everything. And especially, you know, moms who work outside of the home, they have this duality of guilt of like, I have to be everything for my kid, I have to be everything at work. And so, yeah, when we talk about self-care, it's like they have this like slouch, like, that is one more thing I have to do. And, you know, so part of me is helping them to understand there's you. Do we have a PG? Can we like R-rate the words?
Yeah, it's okay.
Get the kids out of the room.
Go for it. Yeah.
There's you, really you, who you are, your essence. And then there's like the shit that you have to do. And a lot of moms get caught up in that I am a list of things to do. So much of what I do with people initially is getting them to wake up to the fact that you are not your tasks. Your tasks are not more important than your relationships. It's not more important than your relationship with the kids, which everybody can sort of see that, but like, it's not more important than your relationship to your spouse. It's not more important than your relationship to you. You are not valued based on the completion of task. So part of it is really, and people will resist that because everybody likes to check things off their list of things to do. I know plenty of people who write stuff down just to check it. It makes them feel really, really good. So my first step with people is really being able to pull back and say, okay, you have this whole giant list of things to do. Is this in alignment with your values? And most moms are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it's like, if you are someone who wants to make sure that their kid is fully enriched and engaged in every single after-school activity that could possibly benefit them, you're out of alignment with your value of what it means to be a good, caring mother. Because what kids need is not 17 enrichment classes per week. They need a non-stressed out mom. So anything that I can say, either delete this, delegate it out, or defer it to later, we take that to-do list and we're like, no. Let's break it down to the essentials and the essential functions of who you want to be. Live in alignment with your values. Because if you say that you value your kids, and if you say that you value your marriage, and you are not putting any effort toward it, into the richness of the love, that's what people want in a marriage. They want the love. But if you focus on task and how your partner is disappointing you because they're not doing all the tasks that you think would make you feel better and supported, then we miss it. We're just missing the point. And the more we focus on task, the more we start having these like parallel lives, especially with our spouse. We feel overwhelmed. Then we look at our spouse and we're like, I wouldn't be so overwhelmed if you would just do this, 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 and this. And of course, even if they do those things, we still feel overwhelmed because what we really want is that sense of connection. Is that sense of like, we are intertwined, we are a strong rope, we are in it together, me and you, baby, against the world. That's what we want to feel. But when we focus on like, I have to do everything around here, which I hear daily. I have to do everything around here. We're just missing the point. So much of what we think we have to do, nothing would happen if we didn't do it. Like I love working with women who really believed that they needed to vacuum every day, and there needed to be no laundry in the laundry hamper, and nothing on their list of things to do, and meal planned out for the month. And I'm like, what if we just stop? Let's just see. Let's just stop. Just don't do it. And there's a lot of resistance around it. But once they have faith that I might know a little bit of what I'm talking about, and they just stop doing it, they're like, well, nothing happened. Not like I was fine. The kids were fine. I didn't feel so depleted. I had time and energy and focus that I didn't have because I was focusing on vacuuming. So it's really about understanding like, okay, well, what matters to us? So in terms of self-care, when we focus on task, there is no self-care because self-care is one more thing you have to do. Oh, I missed my yoga class. Oh, I didn't meditate today. I just found myself going through the drive-through. There's no connection. There's no vibrancy. There's nothing that fills us up. Because what really fills us up is a deep sense of connection.
I love that. And what's coming up for me as you were talking was this idea of we're human beings, not human doings. And we have this misconception, do all these things, which is kind of funny. It was also thinking it ties back to that, well, I got everything I said I wanted and I'm not happy. And that's, on the same level of some sort of list to be accomplished. Absolutely. And so it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Like the, checking things off the list or all the doing really isn't isn't getting there. And, you know, through being, I can totally see, like, then it's sort of, it just, even saying the word makes me feel open to connection and being, and present and relaxed, like not like high stress, and being open to that connection with others.
Right. And I think that, you know, we have these like almost grandiose ideas about like what we should be to like justify our existence on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's really not about that at all. It's not about proving that you've done something as much as it's being able to just be present and authentic and okay with yourself, because that allows everyone around you to open up to you.
Mm-hmm.
The more that we're in this like fast paced, got to get it done. You know, Susie's kid does ballet 4 times a week. Maybe that means my kid should be doing it 4 times a week. This constant comparison keeps us divided. Whereas the more that we just sort of stop that and say like, okay, but who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? What do I need to do to feel that way? What do I need to stop doing to feel that way? It gives us so much permission to not have to have it look like this grandiose vision. It just look like, okay, well, what, you know, what fills you up? What makes you feel good? It doesn't have to be, you know, oh, I'm the perfect mom based on some, you know, construct in a Bounty commercial that I never get angry.
And it's never going to happen. You know, there's that, I'm reminded of the Theodore Roosevelt quote that's comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
It's just never going to happen. And I was thinking just now too about, you know, self-love and how there is a lot of doing to it, even if it's like, oh, I have to meditate. And I've been there myself. I'm like, have to meditate. And I'm like, that's not really what this is all about. Right. But even to have a shift in mindset around, like being kind to yourself and kind of letting that go and being like, you know what, I'm doing a good job. Because as you said, you know, your 2-year-old is not giving you that feedback. And self-love can even just be the conversations in our minds and being like, yeah, I'm enough. I am, you know, doing my best or whatever.
Or I'm allowed to not. I'm allowed to not. I'm allowed to let the plate fall. I'm a
vacuum today.
Like, what's going to happen? Even if the dog poops on the white rug, like, we'll be okay. We will be okay. I don't have to get so stressed out about it. It really will be okay. And I think this idea of like making a bigger deal, like making it be like, it has to be big. I think that in relationships, we really get caught up in that we think that like, we think about like how, you know, everyone says like you should have a date night, and we make a really big deal about, well, what is that? What's a date night? And so like, does it have to be, first of all, if you're an exhausted set of parents, like the idea of like making a big deal date night is like, again,
it's another thing to do.
Like I struck out before I even got up to bat. Like just, there's so many obstacles to go through. And so I created a couple of years ago this No Excuses Date Night Revolution. Where I was like, I do not, because I would hear from these couples like, we really don't have time or money or whatever. And I was like, that is bullshit. A good date night is you connecting with your partner in conversation, in whatever that is. And even if it's just you guys laughing hysterically at the same movie, whatever that is that creates this connection between you two, that's a date night. It does not have to be, you know, a romantic dinner or whatever construct you have in your head about like what a date night should be at this stage of your relationship. You don't have to put so much pressure around things. It can really just be like, well, I commit to hanging out with you without my phone, without the TV, without worrying about the kids, without negotiating the division of labor in our house. Like we can just really have that sort of, I remember you. I really like you. I remember like in the beginning of our relationship, most of us who are in romantic relationships, what did we say to our best friends when we met that guy or we met that girl? It's like, oh my God, we talked forever. We just, I didn't even know what time it was. Next thing I know, it's 3:00 in the morning and neither one of us wanted to go home. And that's that essence. That's that vibrant life that we want to feel. That's the vibrant connection that we want to feel. And that's that's free. That's just a really good conversation. It costs you nothing. And one of the things that, I want to offer to your peeps and your tribe is I did a video series called Question for Connection in connection with this, like, no excuses date night revolution, because it's like, let's make it simple. Let's just have a good conversation. That's all we have to do. And the amount of change that you can have in a relationship by looking at one little question, it's amazing. I've seen so much progress in just that kind of connection. And like, oh, maybe I don't know everything there is to know about you. Maybe I don't have, maybe what I thought has changed. Maybe what I said I wanted has changed. And being able to be in dialogue about that and connected, that authentic connection, that's